Spawning up in the top right-hand position of Yonsu as the blue Terran player, representing my insanity, it is none other than Jjakji. And his opponent, down in the bottom left, the green Zerg, formerly on Madals, currently teamless, it's hOpe. So, what shall we be hoping for? Probably we're going to see a 15 hatch 16 pool opening from hOpe. Meanwhile, Jjakji has shown that he's very versatile in the different builds that he's able to throw out. He's opted for command center firsts. He's opted for Reaper expands. On Yonsu, if he does go CC first, I'd be very surprised if it was on the low ground rather than as part of the wall off because of the rush distance. But crazy things have happened. So, for the moment, we do see hOpe just checking around, making sure there's no proxy barracks coming down. That'd be a bad way to start a best of 3 series, losing to a proxy 11-11 2 racks. It would make me pretty sad. Anyway, all going good, and yeah, hatchery should come down in the moment for hOpe, and everything is solid. So, Jjakji going to be opening command center first on the low ground. So there, when I was saying that, yeah, we won't see that, that would be too brave, that would be too bold. No. Jjakji does it because Jjakji is a boss. Unfortunately, this drone is actually going to start chipping away at the SCV. This is frustrating. Instantly 2 more SCVs though pulled off the main line just to make sure this command center goes down. You can't afford to delay it by much. It would just be catastrophic to your overall build order. The drone is going to rack up an SCV kill though. No, he's actually getting repaired. Wow, I thought that other SCV was attacking. No, he's repairing the drone. Poor hOpe probably was sitting there just like I was like, why is this guy not dying? But it was all fine. Nice repair there by Jjakji. That's a cool little trick. I like that. That's pretty troll mode. That really is hardcore troll mode. I like it. Anyway, we're finally coming down here for Jjakji. So opening the same as we saw game number 2 against Snoot. Just playing things fairly cool and steady. We'll probably see him out on a factory once he gets the required gas. He'll then put a reactor on the barracks, switch them over. All looking good. Should see a bunker side up fairly soon, roughly in the middle, and a couple of marines chucked into that. Anyway, over at Hope's side, he's got his spawning pool down, he's got his hatchery down, and he's getting scouted by Jjakji. Jjakji sees nothing of interest, which is really what he wants to see at this stage when he's gone for a greedy opening. What he didn't want to come over and find was, say, a baneling nest, a lot of gas, and a huge swell of lings headed his way, because that would make you pretty scary. So, SCV just gonna back out away from that natural base. Interesting way he's going. Wonder what he's got planned over here. SCV just gonna come and scout back, check for a third most likely. But I'm always terrified of SCVs hidden off on the side of the map because it makes me very scared at what they could do. It's unlikely they do anything, but that one time you think that they won't do anything, they'll throw down a starport and suddenly you'll have Banshee knocking on your door and you'll be scared and upset and start questioning why you play the game. Not that I've ever done that. I do that quite frequently on ladder. I'm just like, oh, I'm fine, and then suddenly I'm dead and I'm like, oh. And then I get a bit sad. But then I stop sad and start being awesome again. It's all good. Anyway though, we've got things going fairly cool at the moment. Just factory switching over, just all going to plan. Starport is coming down. Interesting positioning of the starport down on the low ground actually acts as a bit of a wall off here. And wow, that's actually really cool. Acts as a complete wall off here when the tech lab comes in with the barracks. And therefore means that if Lings came around, they'd have less area to go through. At least I think it's full wall off, is it not? No, actually it's not, there's a gap there. I take it all back. My amazement has been surpassed by fun things. Anyway, engineering bay is coming down here. It's just going to block off the third for a while. That's actually a really good play. It forces hOpe to come and expand to another third base, which is harder to hold because there's 2 entrances into it. The Banshee as well are going to be far more effective at this base because it's going to be exceptionally hard for a Banshee to come in and start chipping away, or exceptionally hard for Queens to basically come and stop a Banshee getting in and chipping away, which is really not what you want to see. But the creep spread from hOpe is going good. He's not taking out that engineering bay, which should be a bit of an indicator to Jjakji that he's expanded elsewhere, and Jjakji's Hellion's going to go and confirm that now. Cloak is on its way down. We've got 8 Lings as well as the 1-1 upgrades coming down for the Zerg player, but it's really the harassment heavy build that we're seeing from Jjakji look quite scary. Remember game number 3 against Snoop where Jjakji just tore through the third hatch? Yeah, if that happens this game, bad times. Currently, no scouting going through saying that obviously that starport is there. The supply depot is down, and okay, insta-scout of the Banshee. Doesn't know whether there's cloak or not, but should still be a reaction anyway. Hope pulls back. I don't know whether Hope watched the last game or not, but if he did, I suspect we'll see some good stuff going. At the moment, he's distracted by the fact that Hellions are rampaging through his natural base. Drones taking a couple of shots, not getting killed. Will get cleaned up, and most of the drones went down. 2 spore crawlers started, but unfortunately, the Banshee already there. And, well, we need to actually see the Banshee move in. Not currently doing so, waiting for Cloak to finish, but that's giving this spore crawler a little bit of chance. I'm pretty sure, actually, that if Jjakji went in and cloaked now, he could have killed that spore crawler before he had any worry about it. So, yep, in comes the Banshee now. Going to start chipping away at these queens. Good move to start weakening the queens up, especially if he wants to follow him with more pressure. But with transfuses there, with so many lings on the way, I don't see this taking out that third base. And, well, all in all, things are doing fairly good. Ultimately, we've got Hope sitting back, being cautious, able to keep up his bases, whereas Jjakji's invested a lot in a very harassment-heavy opening, and he hasn't actually been able to harass that much. Yes, the drone count's low, but that's due to how many units are being forced. Now, actually, Jjakji getting a bit of a break, able to take out 2 queens. The third queen almost certain to fall too, as it does get trapped in a bit of mispathing. Now, Zerglings are on the way over, but my god, that is a lot of fire, and Zerglings do not like fire. Fire burny, fire hot, and fire kills. So those Zerglings need to learn stop, drop, and roll, as opposed to run around as fast as possible. And yeah, that was a nice little trade for Jjakji getting all those queens. We can see that he's trading double the efficiency of Hope currently. 2 queens still remain. That means 1 hatchery, unfortunately, is not currently getting injected. But Hope able to rectify that situation pretty quickly. So, Jjakji does have his third orbital command. It's floating down, but it gets scouted instantly by Hope, whose spire is about to complete. With the engineering bay down, Hope can also go to expand out to a 4th base, but he's still under pressure from these Hellions and these Banshees. Interestingly, Jjakji opting to spend a lot of energy from his orbital commands to clear out creatures at the moment. Maybe noticing a little window of opportunity to start picking off some drones here. A lot of Hellions coming through. However, a stealing counterattack has snuck past the down depot without any units to defend. This puts Jjakji in an awkward position. He's got to deal a huge amount of damage. These Hellions, though, are doing it for the time being. All the SCVs getting pulled. There is only a handful of lings there, but Jjakji needs to use these Marines and also the SCVs to fight to get through. However, the counter damage is very substantial. Jjakji, remember, can fall back on the fact that the fuels are able to deal a lot more damage. So get a lot more income. So the damage being done by Jjakji is significantly greater than the damage being inflicted upon him. Even though he's losing a considerable number of SCV, he's 23, he's still got those mules. The Hellions still going strong, and of course Hope's going to struggle more to actually bring this back than Jjakji will, due to the mule count, which is about to get cooled down, and we'll see just how effective it is. A couple of missile turrets getting started up since Mutalisks have been seen, and the fact Mutalisks out actually levels out this game pretty well, because Jjakji is going to struggle to deal with those Mutalisks if they keep coming. With the initial missile turrets, he should be okay, and with the Thors now coming out, but if they'd struck at just the right time, well, maybe a few more SCVs could have been killed. Currently, though, the worker count equal, and anyone who knows about mules knows that that means that Jjakji has a mighty economy going right now. He's mining about 500 more minerals per minute than his opponent. That's really good for him. Missile turret's getting some good shots down the Thors, gets some big volleys. Hope's gonna lose 1 Mutalisk. Could have gone a lot worse for him there, but able to back away. Meanwhile, Hope pushing up, gonna try and find another angle of attack. He can chip away at both of these refineries actually, unhindered, and just have a bit of a fun time doing so. Moves a bit far forward to try and kill some SCVs, will take some damage, and that's really not what you want having to happen. A Thor though coming over, but the refinery getting taken out will hurt the gas income of Jjakji, although Jjakji needs that gas in this game, so usually that wouldn't be terrible, but he's getting additional factories out, he's meching, and by meching he needs gas. It's not like when you're going biomine, where you can pretty much survive with just minerals. He needs that gas up. So Jjakji again showing another side to his strategy, and I love that. I love the fact that he's got so many different builds and he can execute them all so well. But for the moment, Hydra, Roach, going to be coming down. Swarm Host as well, going to be making an appearance. Swarm Host against Mech, I actually like, because especially when there's not many tanks, you can start chipping away at the Hellbats very easily, and then of course the Thors, it becomes problematic, and anytime you're trading 3 units which don't even cost energy for anything, you're happy. So, nice decision making here by hOpe, although Jjakji's starting to increase his tank count. Just taking a look, see, he hasn't seen that infestation pit, so Jjakji isn't aware that Swarm Hosts are on the way. I'm also not sure if he's seen the fall. No, he hasn't, but he is getting attacked by the Mutalisks once more. Very frustrating. Also, a bailing run by, however, 2 tanks are there. They should be able to stop this thing too much, so hOpe cutting his losses and takes out a couple of supply depots, and that's actually, again, smart decision making. He's not going to get in to deal SCV damage or anything like that with the tanks there, so might as well detonate on something than nothing. Now, Hive Tech on its way down. Of course, we've got the first Swarm Host coming through. Once you start getting the Swarm Host numbers a bit higher is where they get a lot more scary. Anything above sort of 8 Swarm Hosts is where damage is getting consistently done. 11, that's where you start getting very frustrated with it. Upgrade-wise, that's the only place where there's a small problem for hOpe. He's got 1-1 melee when pretty much everything he's getting now is ranged. Obviously not getting the effect of that melee upgrade, but what hOpe is doing amazingly well is taking out these refineries. 2 gases denied currently from Jjakji. He can remake them, sure, but that's cutting his income a lot. So with that lower gas income, Jjakji isn't going to be able to produce quite as much. There'll be more Hellbats coming down on the field as opposed to tanks and Thors. But the Great Aspire also coming down now from hOpe. So hOpe seems to like 3 units. Broodlord, Swarm Host, with some Infestors thrown in. Pretty good. Add a few Corruptors in, or Mutalisks, you're in a great spot. Unfortunately now though, of course, Jjakji's running some problems, because he's just going to get wave upon wave of 3 units through. These Mutalisks being pretty ballsy, going straight up against the Missile Toad. Jjakji not repairing it at the moment though, and therefore could lose that fight, but baited back by a single Banshee. But now in come the Locusts, and this is not what Jjakji would have wanted to see. Wave upon wave going to be creeping forward. Enduring Locust is done, so they last a little bit longer. And well, more and more going to keep coming. Tanks on siege, currently just making sure they don't siege any friendly units. But of course, even if each wave just kills a single tank, that's amazing for hOpe. It's exactly what he wants. Jjakji deciding now is the time to go. He's got 122 army supplies, a good time to go. And when he's getting sieged by free stuff, you definitely don't want to make the game last any longer. So Hellbats with Blue Flame deal quite effectively against Lings and of course Locusts. But with static defense there too, it can get problematic. The Swarm Host unfortunately spread out of it. Scans going down, trying to grant vision. Locusts coming from the back as well. How much more energy are on these orbital commands? Okay, there is some. Those scans are essential without a Raven there to grant detection of the Swarm Hosts. But Jjakji still pushing in. Broodlords are not on the field yet. There's no Corruptors there, even though the Great Aspire is finished. Jjakji sieges up, splitting all of hOpe's army away from obviously his 3rd base, his 4th base, and his natural. Great positioning here from Jjakji. Going to be very hard to get in, but it does make him slightly vulnerable to a surround. Although that's not the biggest concern for the time being. In come the Locusts, so that is more of a concern. And we see good damage is being done when there's nothing to buffer for these tanks. Jjakji able to clear out a wave, but all while these almost stay up, he cannot afford to take another volley from these Swarmos. That's what's going to be coming. Unfortunately, Jjakji, hOpe going to be able to break this with some Roaches coming in too. All the tanks now taken down. Jjakji still has a good economy behind him. He's lost an entire mech army. He's not got much gas, and therefore resupplying is going to be very challenging. Add in the fact that Roach is now streaming across the map, Jjakji really has to put out a miracle defense at the moment. Yes, he's got this 4th base up, and that gas is going to be helpful. But the Roach is already here. They're starting to chip away the gas. Hope knows exactly what he should be targeting. This Swarmos on the side. They're not burrowed though, so no Locust getting created. That's rectified quickly. And of course, this is where Jjakji is just going to get very, very irritated, because with Swarm Hosts here, it's difficult to break it. This Banshee will get taken down. There's more Swarm Hosts as well assaulting into the 3rd base. So Locust is going to keep coming in wave after wave, picking away unit after unit. And even this base could go down, but Hope retreating for the time being. I'm not sure he needed to retreat here because he's up in army supply and he's got, what, 22 swarm hosts? That's a lot of locusts coming down, 44. And they're just going to keep pushing in. They're going to keep chipping away. Even with the tanks there, Thor's taking considerable amount of damage, getting lifted, pulled back. And this is all Jjakji can really do. He's got to try and buy himself some more time while he goes for a hellbat drop into the fourth base of Hope. So, in we go now. Locusts coming through. More and more. Swarm host repositioning as well. One Swarm host gets hit there and taken out by a Widowmine. Very frustrating. Hellbat drop at the fourth of Hope is going to do more damage. But Jjakji now has to try and reposition in a way he's going to be able to defend against these locusts coming in. Yes, there's a planetary fortress there, but it's frustrating. Hydra's coming in now, sniping out some tanks. Jjakji in a lot of problems. If these tanks go down, he does not have the gas to remake them. And as they all fall, suddenly the locusts have far less splash damage to deal with to make their way forward. The planetary fortress taking wave after wave of damage. The Widowmines trying to hit against the locusts, but aren't that effective. The two Hellbats, though, tearing through, about to actually kill that fourth base of Hope. He's got all of his attention taking out the fourth base of Jjakji. The Locusts, though, not able to take out the planetary quite yet. We've also got a hellbat drop coming down to the third base of Hope at the moment. But still, this is Hope in a very strong spot, or at least should be. The fact Jjakji's holding on is credit to what an amazing player Jjakji is. But Hope, with now some Vipers into it, some blinding clouds of ducks, etc., shouldn't have too much trouble. Abducting into swarm hosts, into those locust waves. So frustrating. Jjakji losing a lot. Losing about the same as Hope is, which isn't ideal for Hope. When you've got swarm hosts, you should be able to trade a lot more cost effectively than your opponent. But wave upon wave of locusts still coming through. Jjakji holding on. He's down in supply. The strength of mech is when it's basically maxed out. So we need to just keep a solid look on what he's going to be able to do. This planetary fortress, managing to stay alive. The Mule Hammer has been called through, and of course that's spiking Jjakji's mineral income. But it's gas that Jjakji really needs while meching. Constantly, bro, constantly trying to squeeze out as many units as possible. But Hope, he's not able to end it. That's what's really causing him a problem. The 11 tanks being problematic. However, Broodlords should be on their way out soon, and that is what will help. Unfortunately, this planetary fortress does not have a single missile turret added, and that's allowing these Mutalisks to just tear it to shreds. Thor's desperately trying to stomp their way over, and that's going to cause Hope to retreat for the time being. But yet again, Jjakji dropping nicely, able to start picking out some of these drones, and suddenly Hope's drone count is spinning. So, as this drone count goes down and the hatchery falls too to that hellbat drop, Jjakji is still holding on in this game. He isn't giving up easy, and I like seeing that because you can get games turned around. I'm just concerned about what these Broodlords are going to do. The fact there's only 2 is a problem because 2 Broodlords aren't super scary. 4 slightly more, but if there was sort of 6, that's when suddenly actually these Vikings and the Thors in high impact payload can't just end their lives fast. So, in now come another wave of locusts, tanks are forced to siege up, Jjakji can start shelling through time after time. Vipers are in position, ready to abduct, but there's only 2 of them, so blinding clouds probably would be more effective, especially if the tanks stay this clumped. Gotta keep an eye out on whether that's gonna happen. But Broodlords should start shelling in fairly soon. Where even are the Broodlords? So they are in position. Jjakji now sees them, if he didn't already know. But I'm fairly sure that Jjakji had seen the Greater Spire. No, he hasn't seen the Greater Spire yet, so definitely confirms that Broodlords are down on the field now. Mutalisks able to intercept another hellbat drop coming in here towards the 4th, but Jjakji moving forward, and this is where we could see a very, very interesting trade situation because, well, Jjakji's army incredibly powerful. He's up at 123 army supply to 146, and while locusts are good, they're sieging up against the planetary fortress. The Broodlords are there too. Jjakji has forced Hope to try and deal with his army, but I fear Jjakji may have bitten off more than he can chew when there are just so many locusts there. The Broodlords not in the mix yet, but they are coming over, so if these tanks dare siege, there will be problems. Unfortunately for the Broodlords though, they've not really got much support against these Vikings, so the Broodlords starting to take more damage. The Corruptor's coming in though, that's good. A fungal growth, Lightning Cloud needs to come down on those tanks though, because they are dealing a hideous amount of damage now. Of course, the Vikings trying to go through those corruptors. In come the Mutalisks, but the Thor dealing a good bit of damage to them. The tanks unsieging, gonna have to retreat as the Broodlings dealing nice damage. Once more, we see that the Hellbat drop is able to start chipping away at that hatchery very efficiently. As a result, we may see some problems coming in for Hope in terms of his production, but he's got a 5th base up just outside of range of the center tower of Jjakji there, and still has the swarm hosts. I don't know how you can have 18 swarm hosts and still allow these bases to live, but Jjakji just doing such an incredible job of defending, able to stop chipping away these Broodlords as the Vikings do win the fight. If these Broodlords go down, it's frustrating for Hope, who's very gas-starved. This game, a little bit scrappy for Hope at the moment, but Jjakji just really playing it out nice, is able to take down that hatchery once more with nothing but 2 Hellbats. The Broodlords, yep, 2 remain, but that's all. Corruptors are back out on the field, which will help against the Vikings. And Jjakji's gas suddenly looking fairly stable. It's now minerals that he desperately needs in a cruel twist of fate. Can he actually mine it quickly enough? Well, he's got the orbital commands, he's got the mules, he's got a decent SCV count. And that's what Hope is missing, is the worker count. He's only at 52 drones currently. And that's making him struggle to get enough gas in order to actually pump out the army that he wants and the army that he needs. Bear in mind we're at 30 minutes into this game. And considering a vast period of it, Hope has had a huge number of swarm hosts. I feel it's important to note that Jjakji has traded pretty well. He's only lost, what's that, about 3,000 more resources than Hope. And considering Hope is using mainly free units, I consider that very effective by the My Insanity player. Now, Hellbat drops are coming down into the 5th base of Hope, getting a couple more drone kills. We can see that Jjakji this game has killed 62 workers, but then Hope has killed 65 himself. Tanks sieging up, trying to secure up this base. Meanwhile, a Hellbat just chipping away at the hatchery here, but some Ling's going to go and try and put a stop to that. Unfortunately, Blue Flame Hellbat's very potent in dealing with Lings, so quite a few do go down, but at this stage of the game, that's not too bad. It's very much a war of attrition at the moment, in whoever can actually get up a mining base as quickly as they can, because the more mining bases, the better economy will give you the income you need to max out. Neither player has been maxed for a long time. And that's what he's showing, because Jjakji just able to hold on. He's turtling up. His Viking count now pretty good. The Raven count very good. The Thor count low, but the tank count very high. So, what we definitely need to see come down if my voice completely dies is Jjakji start building up a bigger army if he wants to win. Unfortunately, attacking into the swarm hosts is difficult, but the swarm host count is slowly getting whittled down. There's 3 Broodlords a bit out of position and 9 Corruptors, but they're going up against those 5 Ravens and 12 Vikings. So that's a good amount of damage. Hope about to lose his 5th base, but Broodlords are sieging the 5th base of Jjakji. So Jjakji, with a good number of Thors, with a good number of Vikings, can come in and deal with those Broodlords very quickly. And that means that again, Hope losing some very powerful units exceptionally fast. He did kill a decent number of workers though. I can't believe it, 79 and 78. 79 workers killed on both sides. That's a huge amount of losses. And of course that makes both of their worker counts exceptionally low. However, Jjakji has mules, these Broodlords, again taking massive amounts of splash, or massive amounts of damage from the Vikings. Corruptors getting healed up as fast as they can. The Ravens, unfortunately, not able to get out much damage, and now Broodlords going down once again. Such tremendous damage coming through here. Another Broodlord gets sniped. Jjakji should now retreat, try and stay out of that queen range with those Vikings, but great control from Jjakji. Hope is now down in supply. He's only got 32 drones, and of course Jjakji, if we look at his income, it's not great at the moment, but Thor cooldown should be about to happen. There we go. 3 Thors coming in, and watch that skyrocket his economy very quickly. And that's giving Jjakji the minerals he needs, but he's low on gas, but he's still mining more than Hope is currently. And that is what's buying him a lot of time. Again, resources lost, starting to look more like you'd expect when a Zerg player is going for swarm hosts. Losing about 5,000 more resources now. However, Mass Raven, Mass Viking is terrifying late game. These Ravens, if they get some good Seeker missiles down on the swarm hosts, all hell will break loose. Locust trying to come through them, but forward comes this death mech army of Jjakji. If he can take out this bottom right base, which he's going to do with 2 Hellbats, is going to be pretty fun. In comes the mech force as well, and that's suddenly where we're going to see this base absolutely melt. And then hOpe has only got 1 mining base now in terms of minerals. That's really not what you want as a Zerg player, and hOpe is still getting whittled down. Jjakji now up in army supply 129 to just 86. While he is counterattacking with some Lings, Jjakji just seems on top of stuff at the moment. Still going to be calling down mules at this top left-hand base that, for the moment, Hope does know it's there, but he can't really punish it because his Broodlords are all dead. He doesn't have the money to make more Broodlords, and it's all very important and very, very critical that these bases are held. Barracks has scouted that this base is getting remade. Another base getting remade down to the right here, but Hope's army is still pretty thin on the ground, and Jjakji's got such a potent force. We look at the actual resources making up his army. 4,800 gas in Jjakji's force compared to just shy of 3,000 of Hope. That's actually a massive difference in terms of the army value. And if Jjakji can utilize that army value effectively, that's where Hope's going to have problems. What Hope needs to do is utilize these 3 units, and if he can make it work for him and make him trade effectively while trying to stop Jjakji mining much more, he can work down this Terran force. But Jjakji's control this game at the moment is splendid. He's just doing such a sensationally good job of pretty much everything that Hope is throwing that it's just getting such a problem. Viper's getting taken down, torn apart by those Vikings. And now, where's Hope's money going? Well, he's got basically none left. He's trying to get some Vipers out. His swarm host count down to 17, so that hasn't dropped in a while. But Jjakji's still mining from this top left base. Jjakji now up just shy of 40 army supply, getting down some Banshee too, because that's definitely what you want. Because a couple of Banshee, when there isn't much anti-air, going to be really powerful against these swarm hosts, since Locust can't shoot up, thank goodness. But Jjakji just comfortably sitting here for the moment. Needs to try and deny this base. If Hope's able to get that up, it's going to really help his economy. But as we can see, what was the 4th base of Hope is getting pretty low on resources. Jjakji dropping down another Hellbat just to pick off a few more drones. 92 and 96 workers killed this game. We're soon going to reach a 200 workers killed total, which is borderline genocide in terms of these 2 players. But this has been so hard to put out. 2-minute game. And Jjakji is just biding his time now. I think Jjakji has come to the conclusion that Hope can't break his position now. He's just got too much. In which case, Jjakji doesn't want to move too early. He wants to wait until he's got the largest force he can accumulate, and then go. Because that's when he's got the greatest chance of making it work. Love this positioning of Jjakji. His tank's able to cover a lot of ground, making sure that both the top left base and this base are secure. The 2 mining bases remaining. Oh no, some Seeker missiles are going to connect. May only get a couple of swarm hosts to low health, but that's still very potent. Now, as we see, Hope's still waiting. He's trying to work out what to do, because against this force, which consists of 16 tanks, 8 Ravens, 13 Vikings, 4 Banshees, and a Thor, you need a lot of stuff. Hope doesn't have the money to make a lot of stuff, and Jjakji is now maxed out, and that would signal his advance, because the second he's maxed, he can start moving forward, and he cannot be any stronger than this in the game. So, ultimately, more damage coming. More push on its way, and Jjakji going in for the advance. He gets some Seeker missiles off. Are they going to connect? Big detonations go, explosions everywhere. Fungal quotes from Hope trying to hold it off, but unfortunately the Infestor is now getting targeted by these Seeker missiles. Damage being done. Jjakji still pushing in. His tank count still sitting comfortably at 18. He's not even using 3/4 of them. And the swarm host count down to only 11 now. Jjakji still making his way forward. Vision being granted by these Ravens. And that's just allowing his force to plow through. Hope now down to just 50 supply. GG is called in. Jjakji in 41, nearly 42 minutes will take game 1 of this best of 3.